steal your attention, and ultimately sell you something to steal your money. I wish I would have had somebody early on that was a mentor to me about these kinds of things. Because, I think I probably started out like a lot of realtors where it was just about making money. It was like, man, if I could just make six figures and I could like have this lifestyle. And then you get there and you realize like, okay, now that I have this six-figure lifestyle, all I have is like more demands on my time and attention and my money. And, as you scale this thing, whatever that looks like for you, and you become more successful and you do all the right things, you're still going to have those demands, those external demands trying to steal your time, steal your attention, and ultimately sell you something to steal your money. If you can't develop the discipline when you're in the grind, you're not going to be able to develop the discipline later on. And that's just something that you gotta be mindful of. And I think what Lars did over the last 30 days is great. I think it's a recalibrating, a resetting. You and I were out in Breckenridge this year. We talked a lot about like, what is it that we're going to invest our time in, because our time is our most valuable asset. So, when we think about this topic today, real estate time off, is that even possible? What we're really talking about is your number one asset and how you're using that asset. So in closing, anything else you guys want to share on this topic?
I would if you're in the thick of it, it's the 90% of agents that are struggling. I heard a stat, I think it was monthly, but I think it may have even been weekly, like 10,000 agents are leaving, are dropping their licenses, let's say on a monthly basis, or, so there's so many agents getting out of the industry. The only thing that's going to keep you going toward, to do the work today that you may not feel like doing, is a vision of, something better in the future. Like that's the only reason. I'm not a natural salesperson. Picking up the telephone for me, it was a very, very heavy telephone. Call reluctance was super high. But I knew on the other side of the phone call I would just say there's, a $10,000 commission check. I can help someone and there's $10,000. And it was building into this vision. I knew in 2009, I decided what 2012 was going to look like. And it was like, I was working less than 40 hours a week. I was only doing listings. I was, so that vision was the thing that made me work 60, 70 hours, for a year or two. And then I was able to buy some more leverage, buy back more of my time. So it's just a process. There tends to be, I don't want to, stereotype, but there tends to be, and I don't think it's generational. It's been dubbed as generational, but I'll just give the analogy that, people want to get to the top of the mountain. Wait, how does it go? They want the top of the mountain, but they're not willing to do the hike, right? Like, everybody wants to be at the top. They want to have financial freedom. They want to, but they're just not willing to kind of take one step at a time. And, so just, everything you've done to this point in your journey is just fuel for the next phase of your journey. All the mistakes, all the good, all the bad, all the ugly, is just going to give you the experience to be able to approach things differently. And then, the only other thing I would say is that, don't do the grand gestures. It's not, working out. I worked out 3 times yesterday. It just so happened that it was that way. And my son told me, he's like, that's probably overkill for one day, Dad. It's all about, he said it's all about consistency. Yeah. And he's 15, right? And so, don't work out 4 times in a day and then expect like the next day you're just going to be sore and miserable and not work out the rest of the week, right? So just start by taking a 30-minute walk a few times, or whatever that looks like in your business, but just start doing the work. Real estate's not going away. Agents aren't going away. All the headlines would lead you to believe that no more homes are going to sell, or, the bottom is going to drop out of the real estate market. It's not going to. They're comparing all the stats you'll see in the headlines is comparing against these 2 unicorn years, 21 and 22, that we're just getting back to normal. And the market is super, super strong, and it's a healthy market. And the good thing is a lot of agents are getting out of real estate.
Yeah. And I would just say, if you guys are resonating with what we're talking about, the way you start making strides towards having a business like this, a life like this, is surrounding yourself with the right people. I don't think you can do this on your own. If you don't have friends or colleagues that you're on a regular basis having conversations like this with, you need to seek them out. You can do it through paid coaching. You can join a mastermind. You can just go on Facebook and get in these different real estate groups and just start reaching out to people who might be posting comments in alignment with what we're talking about, forming free mastermind groups. There's a lot of ways to do it. And one of the ways is by joining Game Changers Nation. We have a link in the description. You can book a call with one of us to talk about what it might look like with partnering with us at EXP and just staying in this conversation. One thing that I discovered for myself is I level up really fast when I surround myself with people who are at the next level. I'll give you a perfect example of that. I was kind of new at snowboarding back in 2018. I'd been doing it for a couple of years, but wasn't really that great yet. And I was on this lift with these two kids. I'll call them kids. They're like 20, and I was like 30 at the time. And they're just like, hey, man, you want to ride with us the rest of the day? Because I was by myself. Abby was at home. And at home, my RV was home at the time in Breckenridge for a few months. And I was like, sure. And they were way better than me. They're dipping in the trees. They're hitting jumps. And by the end of that day, I was hitting small jumps. I was getting air. And for the rest of that winter, I was able to build on what I learned in that one day of surrounding myself with people who are at that next level. So every area of life is like that. Want to be a better dad, want to be a better husband, wife, mother, want to be a better business person, want to get in better shape. So reach out to us. We're here. This is what we love to do. We love to partner with agents and help them get to that next level.
Awesome, man. Well, it's a good call. It's going to call it a wrap for this one.